My message is that life can be happy, that life can be wonderful, that life is wonderful, that life can be intimate, friendly, beautiful, cooperative, naturally tolerant. Life can be a joy, if only you would realize that reality. Prior to all opposites, prior to all yeses and nos, prior to all likes and dislikes, prior to all rights and wrongs, prior to all religions, prior to all concerns, prior to all difficulties, prior to all anxieties and fears and dreads and doubts and boredoms, prior to all words, prior to all knowledge, prior to all making mistakes, prior to not making mistakes, prior to all the opposites, prior to all of duality. I think I've said that before. Prior to all cleanliness, prior to all whims, prior to all mess, prior to all ups and downs, that prior reality likened to the open hand. So the open hand can have, or like a cup or like a spoon, it's indifferent to what's arising. The spoon is indifferent to what it goes into. The cup is indifferent to what's poured into it. This reality is indifferent. However, we've got a mind, and we can use the mind to discriminate. But when you're living as this reality, it's a happy decision that you make. It's an intelligent decision. It's like you've got choices. You put the CD in, and you can choose whether to put the volume up or down. You can choose whether to sometimes increase the speed and decrease the speed. You can change the tone. You've got these choices, but these changes that you make are not dictated by this reality. Do you understand? When we are living as this, when this is living the body-mind, then our functioning in life is not done childishly or adolescently. There's no reaction. You respond to the conditions of life. As an awakened person, I have a lot to share. I am truly blessed and graced to be already happy. Already means it's unconditional. You can be as right and you can be as wrong as you like. You can dwell on your history, consider the future. But unless you're in this disposition, you're not happy. You're being either childish or adolescent. You are fulfilling, you are dramatizing patterns that are as old as when you are living as the open hand, then nothing is familiar. You've seen things before, but it's not, you haven't got that attitude of familiarity. Everything is fresh, everything is new. There's no history tainting your functioning life. It's a joy to live. It's a joy to be with one another. When two hands are open, they merge. Now, if you're coming with two clenched fists, cannot be happy with each other. If I'm in the open hand disposition and you're in the clenched fist disposition, I can only but embrace you. There's no war. There's no antagonistic intentions. This disposition is full of life, full of energy. The realization that there is no self-contraction. One need not add self-contraction to the conditions of life. So you can be, what do they say, blues, you can be blue in your face, you can, what's that saying? Makes a blind bit, doesn't make a blind bit of difference. You can argue till the cows come home. My mother used to say, it's like talking to a brick wall. She was right. Clenched fists, that clenched fist disposition is like talking to a brick wall. She used to say we were all so very pig-headed. Pig-headed is arrogance. I am right and you are wrong. I'm not prepared to listen to you. That's all clenched fist nonsense. We don't need to do the clenched fist nonsense, the self-contraction. It's easy to see whether you're screwing yourself up or not. But the subtleties of the self-contraction, that little bit of tension, do you feel it? Are you sensitive to it, to that? The only way out from this to this is a graceful happening, and it's to do with devotion. Devotion to this, devotion to already happiness. And that's true maturity. No one can grow up. It's not a case of growing up, it's a case of growing out of your patternings, your childish and adolescent patternings that we created when we were younger and we continue to dramatize as we're older. Wake up. Wake up to this reality prior to all individual realities. It's unmade, it was never born and will never die. But it can't speak. Someone's got to speak for it. So I'm speaking for this reality. Reality of happiness. It's a disposition, unmade, unconditional. Then life is a joy to live. Thank you for listening. It's a natural, inherent state. That's the message that has to be understood. Water is naturally wet. It's its inherent characteristic. The personality of water is wetness. Well, the personality, the characteristic of the human being is already happiness. For capital H, unmade happiness. embracing all of duality. It embraces conditional happiness. It embraces conditional sadness. It embraces conditional joy. It embraces even conditional anger. It doesn't contract. It's feeling without limitation. Thank you for listening. Hope you understand. Choose to be already happy under all conditions, no matter what's arising. That's true maturity. Realize this to be true. Thank you for listening.